You remember Black Sheep Squadron, the rebellious pilots, the humor, the fearless leader. But what if I told you? The real story was far darker and far more complicated than the show ever revealed. On television, Black Sheep Squadron, originally called Black Sheep, was about a group of misfit pilots breaking the rules and somehow winning anyway. They were portrayed as reckless, undisciplined, even comedic at times. But in reality, the real squadron wasn't a band of outcasts at all. They were highly trained, disciplined Marine pilots, operating in one of the most dangerous theaters of World War II. The misfit image was largely created for entertainment. The show was based on a real man, Gregory Pappy Boyington, a decorated fighter ace and a war hero. But his real-life story was far from the charming, rebellious leader seen on TV. Boyington struggled with alcoholism. He had a reputation for being difficult, even volatile, and earlier in his career he was actually court-martialed. Then came the moment the show barely touched on. He was shot down and spent nearly 20 months as a prisoner of war in Japan. What he endured there was something no TV show could ever fully capture. Behind the camera, things weren't much easier. Robert Conrad, the actor who played Boyington, was known for his intensity. He insisted on doing his own stunts, pushed for realism, and sometimes clashed with producers. He didn't just play the role, he demanded the show feel real, even when it made production harder. And that pressure, you could feel it on set. One of the most dangerous parts of the show wasn't the acting, it was the planes. The production used real WWII aircraft, including the legendary F-4U Corsair. These weren't props. They were aging war machines, expensive to maintain, difficult to fly, and not without risk. Every flight scene carried real danger, and every episode came at a high cost. Despite its loyal audience, Black Sheep Squadron only lasted 2 seasons. Why? It was simply too expensive to keep going. The aircraft, the action, the production demands, combined with declining interest in war shows during the late 1970s, made it unsustainable. Even a strong concept couldn't overcome the cost. There was another issue, the title. Originally called Black Sheep, many viewers didn't even realize it was a war show. The name confused audiences and hurt discoverability. So it was later changed to Black Sheep Squadron. But by then, the damage had already been done. The biggest difference of all, the tone. The show gave us humor, rebellion, and entertainment. But the real story was about survival, loss, psychological strain, and the brutal reality of war. The real Black Sheep Squadron wasn't a comedy. It was a fight for survival. And maybe that's why the truth was softened, because the real story was too heavy for television. If you remember Black Sheep Squadron, you were only seeing part of the story. The rest was far more complicated. This is Golden Memories, where the past isn't always what it seemed.